introducing Nusaibah. She's been Montessori for 17 years.
Yes.
Montessori. All my cucu saya semua pergi kat Medan Nusaibah.
Alhamdulillah.
One of the best Montessori ever lah. That I see very.
We're very lucky to have your grandchildren.
Thank you. They are very happy. Yeah. I'm so glad.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so Tia, mungkin Madam Nusaibah or Tia nak mula, how do we make the children happy?
Yeah, okay. I think before Nusaibah starts, I'll just bagi tahu semua orang yang Nusaibah akan bertutur dalam bahasa Inggeris. So anything yang tak faham boleh type, saya dan Mak akan terjemahkan. Tapi saya rasa bagi ruang ni untuk Nusaibah lah cakap sebab saya pun tak sabar nak belajar. InsyaAllah. Okay. So Nusaibah, we want to hear you because we want to learn a lot. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry that I can only talk in English, so
No
I hope
worries.
it works out for everybody.
Yes.
And the question is how to make children happy. I think actually they're already happy, and maybe they're even very happy because most of them have their mums and dads at home and for 24/7, and they know they're going to wake up the next morning and they're going to have their parents both there. And I think that actually for the children, for some of them, this is probably one of the most happiest times of their life, right? Because we are living in a day and age where we're all really, really busy. You know, most children have both parents working. And if we're not working, we're doing something else where we're going out and about all the time. And so for the children, this is like, kind of like maybe their prayers have been answered, So, but it's all about how we take this time, how we view this time, how we make the most of this time, and for us to look at it as a positive thing. Yeah. So one of the things that my son said to me is he said, "Oh, I love it when the world is on lockdown, because I have you all for myself." He said, "I love it." He said, "I wish there's always a lockdown." Right? And he's 16. So you can imagine if a 16-year-old is saying that, then what about these tiny little children who can't even express their emotions? They can't even express what they're going through. That the most comfortable, loving place for a child is in their home, right? And now they're being kept in that loving space. But it's all about us as adults, each one of us as adults taking this as a gift and an opportunity to do something amazing with our children. 20 years from now, this lockdown period can either be remembered as the best times in their life where they connected with each other and they connected with their family and their parents were with them, they were learning together, they were baking together, they were eating together, or it can be remembered as the most stressful time in the child's life. And that's up to us. It's up to us, how we're going to take this period and the energy that we're going to live with throughout this time that we have right now. I think that's the first important thing that we need to think about for ourselves. That actually, this is not a difficult time for the children. This is a wonderful time,
Maybe it's time for the parents. We have to change the topic. How to make happy with their children.
Yes.
As somebody who has a teenager, and Professor Muhaya, maybe your children are, of course, much older, like Atiyah. Yeah. When you have an older child, so my son is 16, I really, really miss that time when he was small. Oh. I would do anything to bring back that time to see him again when he was 3 or 6 and, squish his little cheeks and hear him go on about the things that he's interested in. And, for us parents who have young children, this is like a time that Allah has given you to have with extra time. You get extra time added on now to be with your children. But if you're not prepared and you don't know how to view this, then it's easy for you to get distracted and see this in another light, which is why it's so important we have this live session today.
Wow.
That's really true. So basically apa yang Puan Nusaibah katakan, anak-anak ni secara semula jadinya memang gembira. Memang ini mungkin satu doa anak-anak yang selama ni berdoa, nak sangat mak ayah ada kat rumah dan inilah saat yang ada di rumah. So insyaAllah secara aslinya anak-anak boleh gembira. So kita ibu dengan ayah ni bagaimana kita nak uruskan masa dan aktiviti untuk kita yang gembira bersama anak-anak. Dan seperti Puan Nusaibah, ada seorang anak lelaki berusia 16 tahun dan anak beliau mengatakan dia suka sangat saat sekarang sebab dia dapat hidupnya untuk diri dia sendiri. Dan pasti seperti ibu-ibu lain, bila anak dah besar remaja kan Mak kan, ibu rasa nak manja dengan anak dan sebagainya. So, siapa yang ada anak-anak kecil di rumah, haruslah bersyukur dan gunakan masa yang ada dengan anak yang kecil-kecil ni yang comel-comel kat rumah tu, guna masa terbaik dengan mereka.
Betul. Nusaibah, somebody said, Dayan Badiala said, so long never see Madam Nusaibah live with
yes. Since December until now, there's been a lot going on. We've tried, but there's been the 2020 has been an incredible year. It's like every week there's something different going on, right?
Yes. Subhanallah.
So Nusaibah, how do the young children keep occupied? They be bored. They're going to gadgets. So that's why I think the parents wants to know.
I think we have to remember that every opportunity in life is an opportunity for learning. Learning is not just where you sit your child down at a table with a worksheet or a book and get them to do something. That's not just learning. A lot of people, what they're trying to do nowadays is they want to keep their children quiet, right? The idea is we're in lockdown, we're at home, I want to keep my child quiet. We have to shift that mindset. It shouldn't be, I want my child to be quiet. It should be, I want my child to be happy and engaged.
Engaged.
Right? Engaged in something that they enjoy and like doing. And life is all about learning. So there's so many opportunities in the house where the child can be learning something. But the key to it is that it has to be focused on their interest and focused on engaging them, something that they feel involved in and they're engaged with. So throughout your daily life at home with your children, if you reflect on what you do, you'll see there's so many small opportunities you can bring your child in with whatever it is that you're doing. And they're going to be engaged, they're going to be happy, and at the same time, they're going to be learning. And when a child is engaged and they're interested and happy and they're learning, they are going to be peaceful and they're going to feel satisfied. So your day is going to be really beautiful. But if you're trying to keep your children quiet or you're just trying to keep them occupied so that they don't bother you, then what's going to happen is the child they're not going to feel fulfilled, they're not going to feel settled. And in the end, that frustration is going to come out and you're going to have a difficult time or you're going to have a difficult day. So the key here is engagement. Keep your children engaged in something that they love and that they're happy to do, and you will see that your day will go by beautifully. That's the key thing here.
Wow.
Hariyati said the same thing. Their husband discussed that the teenagers with their doa that to have this quiet time with the family. So it's a very strong point. Can you translate in Malay?
Okay, so apa yang Puan Nusaibah katakan, senang kata Mak, kita ni biasanya apa? Kita fikir anak-anak ni macam mana nak bagi anak kita duduk diam, macam nak bagi anak kita senyap.
Kan tidur.
Kita nak macam disiplin, military punya style, nak bagi anak tu ikut duduk tenteram. Sedangkan kita patut fokus kepada macam mana saya nak anak saya gembira dan rasa engage. Engage tu terhubung. Maknanya kita, mungkin masalah kita, anak-anak ni tak ada engagement, dia tak rasa connected. Macam jigsaw puzzle yang kita nak piece biar dia klik. So macam mana kita nak tahu adalah kita tanyakan soalan bagaimana saya nak anak saya gembira dan terhubung dan berminat, dan kita fokus dan cuba refleksi apa yang membuat anak saya berminat, apa yang membuatkan anak saya suka. Itu yang kita fokus. Sebab apa Mak? Bila kita fokus pada benda diamkan anak je, kata kalau kita buat sesuatu yang sebenarnya anak tu tak suka dan tak minat, dia akan memberontak di dalam, dia tak tenang, kita tak tenang. So bagi Adian of the day, fokus dan rasakan apa yang sebenarnya anak kita sukakan dan perlukan. So bukan tagline dia Mak apa? Engagement.
Happy and engaged children.
Yes, happy and engaged children.
Yes.
Can Nusaibah please go on? I'm learning for myself.
I'm sure you're doing many things to keep your children engaged and happy, Atiyah. I think we've seen lots of your pictures on Instagram. They all seem to be happy and busy and engaged.
Inshallah. They're around me right now doing some work within their books.
Oh, lovely.
Okay. Any other suggestions, Nusaibah?
Yeah, I think that within your home, there are so many things that you can easily do with your children that they're going to love to do. So if you remember yourself as a, let's say, 3 and 4 year old, I'm pretty sure you used to probably like to play with water, right? So there are lots of different activities you can set up. And we're really lucky that Malaysia is a hot country, so you don't have to be worried about having water on your clothes. Whereas in England, it's cold and you don't want the children to get wet. But in Malaysia, it's a hot country. You can set up, some like scrubbing activities with a small brush and soap, and let the children scrub their toys or scrub their slippers, or they can even scrub the floor. You can just give them things to scrub, and you'll see that children who are 3 and 4 will be really, really interested in activities like that. You can have a look on my Instagram page. There's a video of a boy scrubbing his Crocs. And he was there for like 20 minutes. We just a little brush and some soap, and he's just sitting there scrubbing these Crocs for 20 minutes. So young,
peace.
yeah, and 20 minutes where he's happy, he's engaged, and then the parent can be happy as well. You can be doing something else that you want to do on the side, and your child is there happy. And after the child engages in an activity like that, they come out more peaceful. Once they've engaged in an activity where they concentrate, the child will come out changed. They'll come out more happy, more peaceful, more settled. Another example is that you can get like you can collect your boxes from things in the kitchen or from deliveries that you've had, and you can just give your child color pencils and staples and let them build something. When I was a child, we used to just get these massive boxes, and we used to build castles, and we used to build all sorts of things out of these boxes, and we used to really, really enjoy it, because when we were growing up, we didn't have TV and we didn't have social media and things like that. So to be entertained, we used to have to do it ourselves. So give your children those cardboard boxes and felt tip pens, and I'm sure these are probably things that you already have, and let them build and let them be creative and let them make something. And you'll see that your child during that time, they'll be really happy with the sellotape and the boxes making something. And at that time, your child is going to be happy. They're going to be engaged. You're going to feel happy. You're going to feel peaceful, right? There are so many examples of very simple things that we can do at home without having to buy much, without having to, order things, or, without a lot of effort. There's lots of small things that we can do where we'll see our children will be happy and they'll be settled.
It's because of sense of accomplishment.
Yes, exactly.
Accomplish something. So, for example, they clean the Crocs clean. They make a
Yes.
puzzle. So, accomplishment always is a food for the soul.
Yes, exactly.
If there's a growth.
Yes, exactly.
That's where
Exactly.
they're growing.
Yes. And children who are below the age of 6, they're in that period where they're constructing themselves. So they are seeking meaningful activity. They're seeking activities that are going to allow them to construct their identity of themselves. So that's what's going on. So when you give them activities like that, it's not just that they're happy and they're engaged. This is also, they're learning and they're developing from that experience that they have.
They call it, as the body moves, the brain groove.
Yes.
Every movement, they groove, and all the axons are branching out.
Yes.
Setiap pergerakan badan kita menyebabkan saraf neuron kita form new pathway, new highway. So kalau budak duduk tak bergerak, handphone mata je, mata tak sihat, otak tak sihat. Tapi kalau dia gerak, semua badan sihat.
Masya Allah. Okay, Nusaiba, there's a question I saw just now about how to overcome a teenager who is very much attached to his or her gadgets.
Oh, that question is a challenging question, because the attachment and addiction to gadgets is not something that just happened now. This is something that's been happening over the years, that your child is slowly becoming addicted to these gadgets. And by the time they're a teenager, now they're inseparable, and they don't want to leave their gadgets. They're constantly thinking about what, their gadget. The moment they wake up, they hold their phone or so on. So this is actually something you have to remember that the teenager is not addicted because they want to be addicted. This is something that's happened to them because we're living in this era right now where everybody's on the gadgets, and this has happened to them over a number of years. So in one way, we have to feel compassion for them, and we have to understand that there are researchers that show us that using phones and going on social media, your brain releases dopamine. It's like a drug. You become addicted to it. So it's almost as if your child is addicted to drugs, right? But your child doesn't know that, and they don't want to be in that situation. But somehow in the society and the time that we're living in, it's created this problem, right? So we really have to help them. We have to educate the children. We have to, with my own son, I actually showed him the brain research with the pictures of the brain that shows the neurons, shows the myelin sheath. It shows the difference between the myelin sheath of somebody who uses gadgets a lot and someone who doesn't. And I showed him all of that. And I said to him, you can choose how you want your brain to be. You choose. It's your brain. You choose. Which one do you want? And like maybe they'll say, oh yeah, I want to use the gadget. I want my brain to be damaged. They might say that because teenagers are like that, right? They'll just try to say something. But actually, when your child is sitting by themselves, that information will sink in, right? So you want to speak to them. If it's a teenager, speak to them about the dangers of gadgets. And the second thing that you want to do is you want to try and find something that they are interested in doing, which is not involving gadgets. Find something that they really like to do. So for example, there's lots of girls out there who are, 14, 15, 16. They're addicted to their gadgets, but maybe they really like to bake, but they don't have the opportunity to bake. So if you say to them, okay, look, here's some baking books. I'll bake with you every day. And during that time when we bake, you don't have the phone with you, right? After a few weeks of baking, they're probably going to have a new hobby, right? A new hobby of baking. And then they're probably going to get into this zone where they like to bake and they're not going to spend so much time on their phone, right? It's about us as parents to try and find something else that the child can connect to. And the children of the teenagers nowadays, a lot of them, they're suffering from this lack of connection, right? Because they're not connected to people. They don't know what they're interested in. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they want to do. They've been pressurized all their life and they've been distracted by social media. So they don't actually know what they want to do, who they are. And so it's natural that they're going to kind of, get addicted to the phone. They're going to spend a lot of time on it because they don't know anything else to do. So what we have to do is we have to connect them. When you see them glued to their phone, you know that there's a problem with connection. So you need to connect to them and connect them to their environment so that they can find out who they are and what it is that they enjoy and love doing. If you do that, you'll see that the addiction will reduce slightly. And by time, hopefully your child will discover what they want to do and then they won't be so spend so much time on their gadgets like they did before.
They were saying now is the time, I listened to Dr. Shafali, she was saying that now penting tak you on, sama ada nak you pergi top school ke, sama ada you nak marah dengan suami you ke, pasal apa you tak kemas ke, macam-macam, doesn't matter now, isn't it? Kan, you dapat the best student ke, does it matter now you have the best car, you nak pergi to the best place holiday, does it matter now? Zero. What matters now is the connection pada diri sendiri. Sebab kanak-kanak remaja yang don't know, they don't not connected to the school, they are why am I here, where am I going, dia tak tahu. Number two, connectkan dengan orang. So why again, handphone is a way of the distraction. So bila kita nak ajar anak tu connect dengan diri dia, dengan Allah dan dengan orang sekeliling. So suruh dia communicate dengan adik-beradik dia, kenal adik-beradik dia, at least know the birthday, know the mother's birthday, father's birthday, the hobby, find the love languages. Which love language, make a quiz. What's the love language for your mother, your father? Make quiz, make interaction, play board games. Ini something saya rasa kena, also for the Muslim we all, solat berjemaah lah. Solat berjemaah and then remaja. And remaja, they just need to be listened to. They always say that remaja don't listen to parents. So because most of the time the parents say, listen to me. You must say, please, I want to listen to you. They really want to listen to them, they will cheat, they will talk and they communicate. Baik, kesian, remaja bermasalah lain daripada ibu bapa bermasalah. Don't blame them. We take responsibility and ask for forgiveness. Please say sorry. Please ask for forgiveness from your teenager. If they're not doing well, say, I'm so sorry. I didn't have the knowledge of parenting when I was raising you up. maybe when I was pregnant, I wasn't behaving in that best of manner, and maybe when you were small, I was not the best of example. So you become like this. I take responsibility. Please forgive me. Let's learn together.
Masya
Siapa
Allah.
yang berani nak minta maaf dengan anak-anak, angkat tangan. Saya nak bagi hadiah. Siapa berani? Okay.
Okay, ada soalan. But that was, Masya Allah.
Just
Thank you, Nusaibah.
just a quick point on those of you who have teenagers. If you want to know a more like conscious and peaceful way to parent your child, I really recommend you get the book Positive Discipline for Teenagers. Get
Okay.
that book. Even I read that book with for my own child, you know, because he's in another stage of development now. He's a teenager, so even I have to read that book so that I can remember. It really makes it clear. It helps you to understand what's going on for the child during that stage and how you can have a positive relationship with them.
Okay, let's see. Any other questions? I saw. We as parents, of course, we want to spend time with our kids. However, we have to work harder for the sake of their future. Hence, we have limited time to spend with our kids. Do you have any comment on that, Saibah?
It's about a balance. You can work too hard for their future that you can miss the present, right? And then when the future comes, you don't have your children with you because they haven't connected to you, right? Or you can leave their future and you can just focus on now, and then there can be problems later. It's about a balance. Yes, we work hard for our children's future, but we have to balance it with connecting with them today. You don't know how long you're going to have your child with you. That's a reality. We don't know how long they're going to be with us, and what they're going to do later on in their life, right? So you have to cherish every moment that you have. And yes, work for their future, but cherish every moment and remember that the future, it's not in your hands. It's in Allah's hands. So the strongest thing that you can do for their future is make dua to Allah. More than the work that you do, more than the effort that you do, it's make dua to Allah for their future. And inshallah, Allah will open something out. But don't neglect the presence. You have to cherish this moment that you have with your child because you're never going to get that same moment again. And trust me, children grow up really, really quickly. I'm still shocked that my son is turning 16 this month. I'm still shocked. They grow up so quickly. So cherish every moment that you have with them. Otherwise, later on, you will regret it once they're older and you haven't had that time with them.
Okay. So there's a formula, we call it happy in the now with a vision for the future.
Yes.
Many
Lovely.
many people are so much visionary in the future, they cannot be happy in the now. You call it the corporate culture.
Oh.
You call it the ambitious parenting. Another one is too happy in the now with no vision for the future, like permissive parenting. But the worst is shouldn't exist. No vision and not in the now. Not happy and no vision. It's worse. I don't think anyone is here. But the most go to happy in the now with optimism for the future. That's most important. So high touch and high tech. When you're high tech, you're in the future. When you're high touch, you're in the now. So have both at the same time. So once you go, they call you in the state of flow. I am in the flow. I don't have to know. So you stable the relationship now, but your eyes already focus on what you want. Kita nampak dah apa kita nak tu, nampak dah ada mind movie kita. Kita dah nampak siapa anak kita nak jadi. So vision yang kita nak untuk anak kita tu, okay, anak tu pemurah, penyayang, pemaaf, rajin, disiplin apa tu. Kita nampak gambar dia, so kita pun what action do I take today, at the same time jaga relationship. Like that lah. Vision.
Okay. Dengar tak, Tia?
Dengar?
Dengar Tia
Dengar,
tak?
dengar.
Okay,
Dengar.
so tadi dia tulis your mic is muted. Okay, one question I saw was quite good question. Someone is asking, wait, let me just, okay. How do we handle children who like to hit their mom if they don't, I think little children, when their mom doesn't follow what they want? How do we control the situation? The situation where the child throws a tantrum, I would say, because they can't be hugged, and the more that the mom tries to make them better, the more aggressive they get.
That kind of tantrums and any kind of aggressive behavior, it's a sign that there's actually a deeper frustration. So there's a deeper frustration in the child. It may come out in that situation, but actually it's already there. There's a frustration inside. And, usually when children react in that way, it means that they're lacking connection. So actually they want to connect with you. Like if you imagine the small child, they can't express to you, they can't tell you how they're feeling, they don't even understand how they're feeling. So if a child is feeling that they're not getting enough time and attention from their parents, that their parent doesn't understand them, if the child is really needs to do something for their development and they're being prevented from doing it because the parent doesn't understand what's going on, that's all going to develop an inner frustration for the child. They won't know that they're frustrated, but that frustration is boiling inside them. And then when a situation happens, they're going to let it all out. And it's going to come in this beautiful tantrum that's going to display the frustration that they have inside them. When you see that tantrum, you have to know that's a display of what's going on inside. And that's because the child is lacking a connection. They're lacking an understanding. There's something that is going on in that child's life that is causing them to have this unsettlement inside them. So yes, at that moment, you see your child is throwing a tantrum and you have to deal with it. But you have to remember that once the child is quiet and they finish their tantrum, it doesn't mean that frustration is gone. You have to go to the source of what's happening with your child. Why do they have this inner frustration? Is there something that they need for their development, which you're not providing for them? Is there something in the routine of their day that has been changed or has been disrupted? Is there some stress in their life, especially in these days? The parents may be stressed about the virus that's going around, and then the children will be absorbing that stress. And then they don't know how to express it and they don't understand it, but they're just absorbing stress and negativity coming from their parents. And then how can they express that? It's going to come out in a tantrum, or it's going to come out in some way, right? So you have to observe your child and you have to try and see what is the root that caused that behavior. Not that incident, but actually the root that's behind it. Try to observe your child. Try to find out what it is so that you can heal and remedy whatever it is in the child that that frustration is being caused from. If you do that, that behavior will stop for good until something else comes up that frustrates them. But if you do that behavior will go down, right? But if you just deal with the moment when your child is throwing a tantrum and you don't look inside them and try to see the deeper meaning, then the behavior is going to keep happening and it's going to escalate and it's going to become unbearable, both for the child and both for yourself. So yes, it becomes a habit. That's how they're going to express their frustration now, because they don't know any other way, right? They don't know any other way how to express to you that there's something not right for them. And that's the way that they can express it.
In other words, medically, the tantrum is a running nose. It's a symptom. But the root cause is the bacteria. Yeah. And how about a self-image, Ms. Waiba, in Montessori? Is there any curriculum in your school where there is effort to build positive image for the child, their self-image?
Throughout all of our practice as Montessori teachers, we work towards building the child's positive self-image. We work towards building their confidence. We work towards them understanding their emotions, understanding how to express themselves. This is actually something that's very, very much integrated throughout the Montessori environment. So it's not that we have a specific lesson only. No, it goes throughout. And even as parents, just like we emphasize on your child's academic development, or you emphasize on your child's physical development. Like, for example, if you're a mother and your child doesn't grow and they just stay the same size and 2 years have passed and they don't grow, and you see that they're not changing, you're going to be really worried, right? Yes. Just like you would be worried about your child's physical development, you should also be worried about their emotional development. It might not be something that you physically see, but it's something that you need to be supporting the child in how to develop a way to understand their emotions, to express themselves positively, and be able to communicate in a positive way with people. That emotional development is also something we have to focus on as parents, as well as the academic and the physical and the spiritual and everything. And unfortunately, most people, they don't notice or they don't pay attention to the emotional development of the child. And emotional development is not just that you give your child lots of hugs and kisses. It's not just that. there's a whole kind of array of things that are needed in order for your child to develop healthy emotions. So that's something that you need to also pay attention and work on. And things like these tantrums are indications that there's something emotionally that you need to work on with your child as well. So you would have to spend time trying to understand that and focus on that.
That is why Atiyah was saying that Montessori is about observing children. So she in the process, Atiyah's in the process of writing what journal are you doing? Atiyah?
No, for my during the time with my kids, I wanna observe them every single day because I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like telling Nusaiba, some things that when I'm feeling down or something, then Nusaiba will coming up with all these encouraging words for me as a mom, mashallah. Alhamdulillah. But then Nusaiba, I want to share what Margaret shared with us last night about, what parents, we always feel frustrated with the things that we've done before. So, but I'll speak in Malay to share with everyone. So semalam saya ada live session Nusaiba aturkan dengan Margaret, seorang Montessori teacher lagi lama. I think she's about your age juga lah, 65, in the UK. So apa yang dia-sharekan, subhanallah, ada seorang ibu bertanya, bagaimana kalau dia merasakan kecewa sebab dia sebelum ni tak sedar tentang macam mana nak membesarkan anak dengan kesedaran yang bagus. Tetapi kadang-kadang kita rasa frustration kan, macam mana kita dah tak buat yang sebaiknya untuk anak masa tu. Dan dia kata senang je. First of all, jangan rasa kecewa. Sebab pada saat itu, kita rasa itu yang terbaik.
Yeah, knowledge.
Itu dengan limitasi kita, kesedaran kita tak tahu. Tapi niat kita tu baik. So jangan rasa kecewa pun dengan diri sendiri. Tetapi pada masa yang sama, kita boleh terus ke depan dengan apa yang kita tahu. So untuk ibu-ibu dan ayah yang ada di sini, mungkin rasa macam alamak baru saya tahu dah salah banyak dengan anak, kita rasa kecewa. Benda tu akan buat kita berpusing, mak kita rasa lagi down. Tapi sedangkan kita akan cakap, okey, alhamdulillah, terima kasih mungkinlah 14 tahun yang lepas, itu yang aku percaya yang terbaik. Dan kini Allah bagikan ilmu baru, kesedaran baru, dan ini yang saya nak ke depan dengan ini sekarang. So kita fokus kepada apa yang kita boleh buat, dengan hikmah Allah akan bantu kita, insyaAllah. Mak anak umur dah berusia pun boleh berubah, apalagi yang baru belasan tahun, baru sekolah rendah dan kecil dan sebagainya, insyaAllah.
Yes. As we change, our children change.
Yes, definitely, insyaAllah. MasyaAllah. Okay, let's see any other questions. Mak nak tambah sementara Tia cari soalan?
Tak ada. Mak katalah apa ni, the guilt. We have this David Hawkins, dia buat study about energy. The lowest energy, shame.
It's guilt. Pain, yeah.
So never go into guilty and shame and anger and revenge. That's low energy, and they call it suffering zone. So any of you, siapa kat sini, siapa yang merasa bersalah, menyesal, anda dalam zon kesengsaraan. Dan kebanyakan orang biasa, zon biasa ialah okey, harapan, terima, itu biasa. Tapi zon luar biasa hanya bila kita ada kasih sayang, ketenangan, kebahagiaan. I was telling Nusaibah, we have 3 zones. Suffering, ordinary living, extraordinary living. Suffering is when you have shame, guilt, anger, revenge, arrogance, suffer. The higher is courage, hope, willingness, acceptance. That is normal. But super normal or extraordinary life, when you have unconditional love, you have peace, you have joy. That's why I always say, I am peace, I am joy, I am love. I am peace, I am joy, I am love. Because when you have love, you are sure to have harmony. You have harmony, you are sure to have beauty. Remember the words love, harmony, beauty. We feel beauty physically when we have harmonious relationship with our emotion. And we only have harmony when we have unconditional love from Allah to all akhlaq makhluk. They start with love. And there is a Sufi, Alamak Sufi, they were saying, don't teach your children what to love, but raise loving children. Because loving people. So jangan didik anak untuk cinta Allah, cinta Rasul. Tak guna. You kena didik jiwa pencinta. Your ability to love whatever you are encounter with. You love. That love, because Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, it's all love. So if we don't start our day with love, we don't start activity with love, we don't start curriculum with love, we have arrogance, pride, anger, jealousy. All this is suffering. Don't do anything in your life. Don't start any business. Don't start any marriage. Don't start any family. Don't start having children until you are a loving person.
InsyaAllah.
This is the
Wow. Sebab tu banyak daripada kita ada masalah nak memaafkan diri sendiri kan Mak kan?
yes.
Tak menyayangi diri sendiri.
Self-love, self-image, self-acceptance. You call it self-love, self-image, self-acceptance, self-awareness. Most of us, the worst criticism, they said there is negative and positive criticism. But the worst criticism, as Marisa Peer says, is self-criticism. So 3 things you must take care. Jadi 3 perkara jaga setiap hari. Apa monolog? I am good, I am kind, I am joy, I'm lucky. My life is so phenomenal. In my world, everything ever goes wrong. Each day in every, I'm getting better and better. Life gets better all the time. You say this all the time. You say it, and even though your conscious mind don't want to, you say it until it becomes part of you. Change your paradigm. Until you say this, don't do anything. I'm telling myself. Because I've seen so many people, this is what I learned from Bob Proctor, that many school, they're just putting the 5% academic, but the paradigm, the parenting, macam dia dibesarkan tu negative, you put all the intelligence. So many people with double masters, PhD with depression. Because the whole thing, the whole world, the whole parenting is about here, never here.
Yeah.
People are living in their head, not in their heart.
Masya Allah.
That's everything.
Sebab tu kalau kita tengok Mak, orang yang mungkin kita lihat kan anak-anak yang lahir genius ke, hebat, tapi bukanlah nak menentukan itu menentukan kebahagiaan ke hidup, tak. Malahan mungkin dia lagi rasa depressed sebab kita tak seimbang dalam memberikan apa anak tu perlu dalam hidup dia kan, Masya Allah.
Tak, mereka diberi tugas untuk perform to the world. I must appear good. So Facebook, baju semua sama, nak beranak air raya, check ambil gambar. I must appear clever. I'm reading the Quran. I must appear disciplined. So I'm on time. So performing to the social media. So many cyber happy people, cyber healthy people, cyber good people, but genuinely good, very few. Many people are not living with their true self. Bila kita tak jadi diri sebenar, kita fake. How do you know fake? 3 things. We have a secret life kita dengan Allah. We have a private life kita dengan keluarga. We have a public life kita dengan orang lain. So PKP bagus, banyak orang betulkan. People can correct the secret and the private life. So that's why PKP is needed for the world to reset itself, because many people are faking out there. Too much social media, too much public life, appear good, appear kind, appear generous, but not genuinely good. There's no authenticity. So bila tidak ada authenticity, kita tak gembira. Kenapa anak-anak gembira? Because they are very authentic. We have to be childlike, not childish. Childlike. What's a childlike? Live in the now, easy to please, not judgmental, very not worried about what you think of me. Live in the now. So why not we become childlike? Learn from Miss Muhaya and Montessori. Saya nak cakap semua you all, siapa sekarang ni yang anak-anak sekolah biasa tu rasa nak upgrade pada anak-anak you pada Montessori way of raising children? Siapa nak angkat tangan? I suggest all of you go to Rumi Montessori Instagram, and Nusaibah ada program apa for parents?
Yeah, Nusaibah has a lot of courses. Sekarang ni ada banyak kursus yang Nusaibah buat online yang boleh sertai dan ada diskaun 20% untuk dan Masya Allah saya adalah pelajar. Masya Allah banyak sangat saya belajar, kerana kadang bukannya so much of teknik kita nak ajar anak, tetapi membangkit dan membangunkan jiwa kita. Mengubah cara kita melihat anak, mengubah cara kita faham tentang even nak mengajar bahasa kepada anak, menulis dan membaca. Baru saya faham, macam ni cara nak membangkitkan jiwa tu untuk belajar. Macam mana dia nak membaca, mengenal huruf. Itu semua ada di seni dan scientific way dia, Masya Allah. And then dia sangat teknik yang apa? Acknowledge the fitrah, menghargai fitrah anak tu.
Respect.
Yes, respect. So, Miss Saiba, can you just
Can you
quickly
tell
put
about your
the link to your
link?
courses in the comments?
I'm not sure how to comment on here.
Oh, because you're on. You can open
I'm
it on.
using my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm using a
Okay,
phone.
let me
So
just
I'm not sure
find
how
it.
to.
Is it on? Oh, wait. Let me share.
Okay, all. Macam ni all. The best
I think,
investment is investment in your
yeah.
children, because
Yeah, there's,
it's not what you leave to your children, berapa duit, berapa ratus ribu tinggal, but what you live within the children, and that within is the paradigm, is the blueprint, is the programming, is the
yeah.
self-image. Kalau you all tak invest in this, you are busy investing outside, kesian diorang. Saya pengalaman doktor dah banyak. I've treated so many patients. Double masters, buat PhD tapi depression. They have
Allah.
so much money but so many broken marriage. So I tell you, if I were to study the self-image, all rotten. Because when they were small, they were being compared, they were being criticized, they were might feel not good enough, I'm not loved enough, I'm not good enough, I must live up to this standard, I'm compared with my cousin, everything. So
Penatnya.
penatnya, kesian dia, Pak tahu kesian.
Ya.
Look at the
Sebab kita faham kan,
faham.
kita pernah masuk perangkap macam tu.
Yes. So that's why benda ni dah banyak buat salah. So you all please, young people, don't do that. Ibu-ibu PKP, time to know yourself. Jaga your secret with Allah. Jaga solat tepat waktu, berjemaah, baca Quran, prepare for Ramadan. Prepare your home. Atiyah dah siap for Ramadan. Then
Ya, betul.
your private life, please, your communication, your love, your 5 love languages with your family. Know what your husband need, what your children need. Okay, please be kind and gentle. Ingat 4 sifat yang jauh daripada api neraka. Hayyin, tenang. Layin, lemah lembut. Qorib, mesra. Sahal, memudahkan urusan. Please invest in your private and your secret life. Then your public life is no big deal. You be loved by everyone you love. It's so easy to live in this world. Just take care of the Allah, take care of your own family, love yourself, live with yourself. Until you love yourself, nobody's going to love you. Don't ask your husband to love you until you love yourself. And
Yeah.
don't ask your husband to see you beautiful if you keep on saying, I'm ugly. People will only see you the way you see yourself. Every day wake up, say, I'm beautiful. I am adorable. I'm the most loving person in the world. I love everyone because everyone loves me. It's a friendly universe. The whole world is out to help me. Say that all the time. Yeah. Do they teach this in Montessori? I don't think so. Do they teach this?
It,
Not so.
all of this philosophy is ingrained in the Montessori philosophy.
Yeah.
So, like in Montessori, we believe that whatever happens in a child's first 6 years of their life is being absorbed, and it's forming part of their soul. So Montessori tells us that an adult will see their environment and they'll remember it, but for the child, it actually changes them in their soul. So we already know from science that whatever the child experiences in their first 6 years of their life is going to be in their subconscious mind, and it's going to be the programming that is running you as an adult today. So whoever you are today is pretty much what you absorbed in the first 6 years of your life. That's the program that you're running with. So if you can, as a parent, if you can make your environment a loving, positive environment, that's what your children are going to absorb, and that's how they're going to be when they're older. But if you don't put that effort into, loving yourself and loving your environment and being a positive person, then your children are going to absorb that negativity, or they're going to absorb those emotions from you. And that's going to be their program that they're going to run themselves with the rest of their lives, unless they will consciously make a decision to change. And that's hard. For us to change is hard. But, if let's say we ourselves have to change and become more positive because maybe we're damaged to some way, or we had some bad experience when we were younger, or whatever it may be, we don't want to put our children through the same thing. So this is where you break that cycle, and you have to make a conscious effort to understand your child. And one of the courses that I have is not about activities, it's just about understanding child development. And there's a lot of people take the course and they're like, wow, I see my child differently now. I see them through, I understand my child, I understand what's going on, I understand how I can support them. There's a lot of people who'll message me back after they've done the course and they'll be like, I wish I knew this before. I wish I knew this before I had my children, because what we are living in a time where there's so much information available, but we're lacking actual true information, right? About the child, about the needs of the child, especially in an Islamic context. So that course that I designed is within the Islamic context so that you can understand your child through the lens of Islamic Montessori. So
Yes.
the Islamic part and the Montessori part, so you can understand your child. And a course like that, it's, even when I re-listen to the lectures, it's benefiting for me, right? So it's important, to understand your child, because a lot of the things that you're worrying about, that you're getting stressed about, that you're unsure about right now as a parent, sometimes the answers are really simple. Sometimes you just need to understand the age and stage of your child, the interests of your child, the sensitivities of your child. And that's what I go through in that course. And if you have that knowledge and you're working on yourself to be positive and to be loving, then you're going to be able to give your child a beautiful, wonderful childhood that's going to help them later on in their life to be that amazing, incredible, positive person that you want them to be.
Nusaiba, how many courses, how many lectures, how many series for that course?
That one is over. I've arranged it as 6 units. So either you can do 1 unit a week, or you can just, some people just listen to all of it in one go. So
Binge watching.
yeah, and you get lifetime access, so you can listen to it again and again and again and again.
Oh.
And some people told me that they put it on their, like, they listen to it in their car on the way to work and the way back. It's a bit embarrassing for me because I didn't realize that people will be doing that, but it is beneficial. You can go through it, and I talk about the different. At the moment, it's on sale, so it's 120 ringgits.
Only.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask all the Prof Muhaya Circle member to join.
Yeah. I've shared the link in the comment section.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Inshallah, I hope that it will be helpful and beneficial. And inshallah, we're trying to get it translated into Malay as well. Because I know that there's people who are listening who maybe you understand English, but maybe I talk too fast, or it's you understand better if it's in Malay. So inshallah, we want to translate it into Malay so that it can be more personal to those of you who prefer to learn and understand it in Malay language.
InsyaAllah.
126 units, and it's going to change, akan ubah cara melihat anak. Bayangkan you all, RM120, you macam ni lah, macam kita ada masalah 5 tahun dengan anak, tiba-tiba settle hanya dengan shift awareness sikit aja. Selama ni ada tutup, you buka aja. Okay, please, I recommend all of you go to link ada Atiyah beri ya.
Yeah, so saya dah share, cari dalam komen. I've shared Nusaiba's Facebook, Rumi Montessori, IG Puan Nusaiba, Rumi Montessori, dan juga the link to the course. Okay? Let me just re-share everything in one shot. Okay, Kak? Okay. So, okay, nak conclude, Mak?
Ya, dia kelompokkan apa yang tu. How to reach Badan Nusaiba, share IG ya, dah bagi.
Very
See all my Prof Muhaya Circle all wants me to share Nusaiba. So maybe Nusaiba, I invite you live in my Prof.
Because
yes, I want to join.
Yeah, PMC is a group of people who only want positivity.
Oh, lovely.
So we have, on Friday I'm going to have my own reflection journal.
Oh, lovely.
On Friday, for 90 minutes with me, all of them have a journal inspirasi, we go look at our life. So maybe if you want to have, you do with Nusaiba, the journal observing anak-anak. How to observe children.
Okay, lovely. Inshallah, that would be lovely.
Inshallah. Okay, I've shared it all in the comments. In one comment, I've already shared the link to the course, Nusaiba's Instagram and Facebook. Yeah. So okay, let me help you to conclude all of this, insyaAllah. So saya harap ibu dan ayah yang menonton, yang bakal ibu, bakal ayah, ataupun yang ada anak saudara, ada anak murid, faham yang sebenarnya persoalannya adalah bagaimana saya nak anak saya gembira dan berminat dan sentiasa terhubung. Bukannya macam mana saya nak diamkan anak, nak disiplinkan anak. Itu kita meletakkan agenda kita. Bila anak diam, kita yang rasa kita tenang. Sedangkan mungkin jiwa anak tu tak tenteram dan memberontak. So, subhanallah, apa yang Islam dan Rasulullah SAW menggalakkan kita sentiasa fikir pasal orang lain, lembut dengan manusia lain, menyayangi insan lain, Masya Allah. So, semuanya ini adalah ajaran yang untuk kita semua Dan saya harap semua lagi ramai dapat belajar tentang ilmu ni, sebab mak dia sangat membantu kita memahami jiwa kita juga.
Betul.
Sebab ramai daripada kita ni anak-anak kecil yang tak membesar lagi.
Betul.
Kita macam ada banyak tak settle, mungkin kita ada banyak masa lepas yang tak tenteram dan sebagainya, kita mungkin nak kena rawat benda tu. So bila kita faham apa yang anak tu sedang lalui, perkembangan anak, insya-Allah kita faham diri kita. So bila kita faham diri kita faham kenapa Allah takdirkan hidup kita begini, dan insya-Allah kita tak nak buat kitaran yang sama untuk anak-anak. So, okay, insya-Allah. Selamat salam maghrib. Terima kasih, Mak.
Okay, thank you, Nusaibah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nusaibah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay, you all jumpa lagi ya nak maghrib. Terima kasih banyak. Thank you. Okay.